The entire time I was working on What's So Amazing About Grace, I had a different working title, and this was it. What's so amazing about grace, and why don't Christians show more of it? Now, this is 20 years ago.
You eliminated the subtitle.
Well, my publisher convinced me that's a lot of words to put on the cover of a book, especially on the spine of a book, and it can be a little bit in your face if you're going to give this book as a gift. So as I was writing that book, I started being concerned about how a lot of Christians seem to think politics is the answer. If we just get our people in the White House and the Congress, then we can get our country back. You know, you'd hear this kind of thing a lot. And that wasn't the grace that I saw in the Bible. And so I changed the book as I was writing it. It went from more of a exploration of how the church should be acting in secular society to what is grace and why is it so amazing, and let's explore Jesus' stories about grace. But all this time in the last 20 years, I've been thinking further about, so why is it that Christians do have such a bad reputation? The surveys show that in the last 20 years, the number of people who have a positive view of Christians, who are nuns, you know, who don't have any religious commitment, has plunged. Even though they didn't have a religious commitment, about 20 years ago, about 85% of them had a positive impression of Christians. Now it's more around 15%. So what have we done, and what should we do about it? Whatever happened to the good news? The word gospel is good news, evangelical good news. It's in there, and yet a lot of people aren't hearing it as good news. So let's take another look at it and see what we're doing wrong.
Well, let's unpack that just a bit, because I know in our desire to follow Christ's Great Commission, to share what God has done for us, to lead people to the Lord, to be evangelistic, we should be sharing our faith. But I think that perhaps maybe in our approach in trying to be evangelistic, people come away with a negative impression. So is that because we're sharing it improperly? I mean, what's the deal here? Because we're supposed to share our faith.
Yes, we are. And it used to be that there was kind of a Christian consensus in this country. So Billy Graham would come to a city like Atlanta, fill a stadium, 50, 60,000 people, and he would say, here's what the Bible says, here's what you ought to believe. And people sit there and say, yeah, I guess you're right, we should believe this. Now, if you tried that, a lot of people would say, well, so what? I don't have to believe that. That's your opinion, not mine. Or the Bible says, well, so what? You know, I don't believe the Bible. Things have changed. It's more of a post-Christian culture now. And I like a phrase I got from a theologian named Miroslav Volf. And he says, in the old days, we would communicate our faith head to head, so that I believe something, here's why you should believe it. Now it's more effective to do it what he calls hand to heart to head. Reach out with your hands, acts of mercy. And then you touch people's hearts. Why did you do this? Well, let me tell you why. And they're open to the head beliefs. But that's a paradigm that works best in an antagonistic society. Prove what you believe by how you act. And when you do that, you touch people's hearts, and they want to know, why did you do that? Why did you care about that homeless person? Why did you care about that unwed mother? Well, because we believe God does, because we believe Jesus wants us to. And then they're open to the head beliefs, rather than if you start with the head, often they'll just turn you off before they even listen to you.